Hi, and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that takes a look at players that have been linked with a summer move to Arsenal. And you know what? It's a little bit quiet today on the rumour front. A lot of rumours that have been around for a week or so, still hanging out there. One rumour that's still there, still hanging out there, is the one about Fernando Llorente. Some papers even reporting that Arsenal may sign him by next week, Monday. I'm not sure where they've got that from, but the Llorente rumour's still out there. He is available. 30 years of age, as I've said. He used to be, I've used the word, used to be a very, very good striker. When he was at Atletico Bilbao, he was wanted by all the top clubs around Europe. Ended up going to Juventus. Hasn't really worked out for him, but on his day, he can be a real devastating striker. He's got a real physical presence. He's good in the air. He's good at holding the ball up. And listen, he is a decent player. Maybe, maybe a club could take him and give him the sort of starting time he requires and develop him into a good player. And, you also got to look on it and say, could he, we've got to consider this because he's going for a fairly cheap price. Could he be a good backup to a player like Olivier Giroud? All right, I know he's very similar, and that's something that I've argued about. Why bring in a guy that's almost exactly the same as Giroud, but apart from he's not as skillful. But he could be a foil. He could be a player that, if anything happens to Giroud, you've still got that player that you can play in the middle who can hold the ball up for you, especially when you're in games where you're playing different types of opposition or when you're away from home. So could Llorente be a decent option as a striker? I mean, this is what we're going to have to wait and see. As I said, some papers even reporting that deal could be done as soon as next week, Monday. I very much doubt that. If Arsene Wenger's been true to the words, what he's been saying, he says that he wants real super quality to come in to add to his squad. And I wouldn't describe Llorente as that. Llorente a few years ago would have been that, but not at the moment. Llorente would definitely be a backup. And there's so few lack of striking options out there. This is why you're seeing players like Llorente get mentioned, but I'm really not sure about that happening. The other interesting one is Julian Draxler. Now, Draxler, we were being told, was leaving Schalke. A real surprise to me, this whole thing, is that he's leaving Schalke and that Juventus want to sign him. And we know that the two clubs have been talking and discussing the deal. And news today that the deal so far is not going ahead because the £15.6 million that has been offered for Julian Draxler by Juventus has been rejected by Schalke. They said, nope, that's not enough money. I mean, remember, a couple of seasons ago, we were trying to buy this guy. He had a £35 million release clause. I think we put in a bid of about 30 million and that was rejected. And now, Juventus are offering in half of that. All right, that's been rejected, but it's not going to take much more than that to get this guy who's one of the best talents around Europe. Injury blighted, we know that over the past couple of seasons. And again, as I said a few days ago, the Schalke knows something that everybody else don't know, but then he'll have to pass a medical to get into any team. So is it worth Arsene Wenger going out there now? You've got a second chance now at signing Draxler. Is it worth Wenger going out there and attempting to sign Julian Draxler? Because as I said, was one of the, and still is. Remember, this guy's only young. He's still only a very young player. For that sort of price, wages I don't think will be ridiculous. For that sort of price, isn't it worth taking a punt on him? And remember, we were being told that he was being groomed to play as a striker for Arsenal. That Arsene Wenger considered him because he is a tall player. He is very quick and he's a good finisher. And Wenger, there was a lot of talk at the time that Wenger was thinking of buying him, not to play him out on the flanks where he plays for Schalke, but to play him through the middle as a striker as well. Now, if we're looking for a striker, could that not be a striking option and a lot cheaper than some of the targets that are out there. Although unproven, I don't know. I still think to myself, a player of that quality, I know we're really blessed in the midfield department, but I don't know, I'm really torn. Should we go for him, or is it just that, you know, he's not worth it? I'm just thinking that striker position, could he play that? You know, we're going to have to wait and see what happens with that one. But there is a second chance for Arsenal if they wanted, after the initial Juventus bid was rejected. Linked today as well to a young player called Dani Mahlon. He's 16 years of age. He's a striker and he plays for Ajax. Yes, you're not going to be excited now because of the age, because that means if he comes in, he's going to have to develop. He's one of the hottest prospects around Europe, we're being told. And also interested in him, they could, of course, make him join on a scholarship contract because of his age. And then when he becomes 17, then he'd sign a full contract. But big things being said about this kid. Of course, Bergkamp's there over there at Ajax. So he's getting the very best of coaching there. And yeah, Arsenal linked heavily today with this kid, Dani Mahlon, who is also being chased, by the way, by a host of other top European clubs for his signature. Another young player. It seems to be a lot of young players are getting linked to at the moment. We're not bad in the young player department. We always seem to get them players. But we're being linked today with Rolando Aarons. Now, Rolando Aarons, he's from Jamaica, born and grown in Kingston, Jamaica. Plays for Newcastle United. He's only 19, this kid. He's had injuries. That's why we haven't seen a lot of him. But when he has played, he looks a very, very good player. Plays out on the flanks, on the wings. And we're being told that, you know, his contract negotiations, there have been a lot of hitches in it. And Arsenal looking to pounce, Liverpool looking to pounce. Again, I'm not sure about the Arsenal link to this because, again, another winger. I mean, we've got so many. I mean, we've got Joel Campbell at the moment. Remember him? He's still at Arsenal. You know, I mean, I just can't see it, you know. And he's 19 as well. It's not even like you're going to be able to sort of put him there and develop him. And then when you're even looking at guys like some of the kids that played over the weekend, like Jeff Rene, Adelaide and Iwobi, you know, we've got backup even in those positions that can play there. So I just can't see how and where he play and, you know, how these sort of links have come about. I think mainly because of our links with always getting good young players and the fact that he is such a hot prospect. That is why Arsenal are being linked with Aarons. George Dobson. I got a message yesterday from the guys at West Ham Fan TV. They said to me, Robbie, what do you make of this George Dobson thing then? What's George Dobson like? And I had to admit to him, listen, I've never seen this kid play. I've never ever seen him play. Arsenal youth player who's left Arsenal to go and join West Ham. Apparently he says he's a lifelong West Ham fan, so he's happy to have gone over there. But he's left Arsenal. You know, you read about him and it says that he's a real hot prospect as well. Every young player seems to be a hot prospect, don't they? You ever notice that? Every young player is a hot prospect, or the new this or the new that. We have to wait and see, but Arsenal have let him go and he's joined West Ham United. So as I always say to youth players that leave Arsenal, wishing them the best of luck. Hopefully he can have a good career over there at West Ham. And Wojciech Szczesny. Yeah, we talked about it. First told you guys about it last week. Spoke about it yesterday that he'd put it out on his Instagram that he was going to Roma. And confirmation, you see him arriving at the airport in Rome with his Roma scarf there. He is going to be a Roma player. It's going to be a loan move, as I said, for 1 year. But there are a lot of people who are saying, will we ever see Wojciech Szczesny come back? Because a lot of Arsenal players seem to go out on loan. Very few of them, when it's, you know, when it's of his sort of age and they go out on loan, very few of them seem to come back. So it's going to be all what Szczesny does. He needs to now really kick on. He needs to really put it in over there at Roma and really, really impress. So that a bit like what, you know, Courtois did with, you know, Petr Cech. You know, he needs to go out there and do that. Do the same sort of thing so that when he comes back now, Petr Cech is under real pressure. Imagine that. Imagine Petr Cech being in goal for Arsenal. Wojciech Szczesny goes over to Roma, plays worldies for a season or say 2 seasons, and then comes back, and then Petr Cech again is moved on because of another young person that's come and taken his place. That is the challenge to Wojciech Szczesny. And finally, Jose Mourinho running his mouth again on Arsene Wenger. He's there in the papers, all over the papers today, talking about how Arsenal, he goes, get your calculator out and you'll see that Arsenal have actually spent more money than Chelsea over the last 3 years. Notice he doesn't talk about all the years previous to that. The last 3 years, and he goes on to talk about how he bought Alexis Sanchez and how he bought Callum Chambers. And listen, we probably, you know, we have spent more money than Chelsea over the past 3 years, but that's only because over the previous years, they spent so much money to assemble a squad. They haven't really needed to add much to. And, you know, he fails to include the fact that, you know, they're paying players £200,000 plus per week, wages and things like that, that Arsenal are unable to match at the moment. Listen, there's no doubt about it. Arsenal are spending lots of money right now. You know, if a player is available, Arsenal are able at the moment to go out there and buy certain players. So he's right in that aspect that over the last 3 years, you know, with the signings of Ozil, Sanchez, we have spent a lot of money. But come on, Chelsea have spent, you know, nearly £1 billion to assemble that squad or more. You know, so come on, Mourinho, forget about the money thing. You know, to be fair to Mourinho, he did sort of in that article talk a lot about how Arsenal have assembled a team that will definitely challenge for the title. And he's saying, listen, Arsenal are definitely title contenders. They've got a really, really strong team. And I'm really looking forward to that Community Shield game next week. I just get the feeling that that will be a bit more than a friendly. Anytime Wenger and Mourinho clash, it always is more than a friendly. And it's about time we've got something over him. Even if it's just a friendly, it will send out a good little signal for the season ahead. So looking forward to that game. But yeah, Mourinho, is that it again? To be fair to him, as I said, read the article. It is, you know, anything he says and mentions about Arsene Wenger is always going to get talked up like, you know, worse than what it was. I don't think he was having a serious dig, but he's at it again. Let's get into the comments today. Kabavabon says, if we're going to go all out for the impossible options like Benzema, why not attempt to steal the best impossible option, Aguero? Even for 60 million, that would be money well spent. Well, that's because it is an impossible option. There's absolutely no way that Manchester City are going. They're not a selling club. Look how much money they've got. They do not have to sell Aguero. Real Madrid desperately want Aguero, and even they can't get him. So no chance of that. Denzel says, I hope everybody realizes that Benzema has only scored 20 goals in one season for Real Madrid. I'm not sure he's good. He's as good as we think he is. I'd rather go for a defensive midfielder and Lewandowski, he says. If Benzema was that good, Giroud would not be alternating with him for the French national team. Those are some good points there. Stud Malksy says, he goes, I don't understand what Llorente can offer that Walcott, Giroud and Welbeck can't. Royal Zach says, it was essential for us to sign Kondogbia, yet we missed the chance. He says, Wenger is effing up the transfer window as usual. And here, Akash Guha says, this is how Wenger understands positional competition. Looking at this, there is no way that Wenger will sign another player without letting someone go in their place. And he says, he goes on to list out. He says, strikers, you've got Giroud, Walcott, Welbeck, Sanchez, Campbell. Left wing, Sanchez, Welbeck, Wilshere, Campbell. Right wing, Walcott, Chamberlain, Ramsey, Campbell. Attacking midfielder, Ozil, Cazorla or Rosicky. Central midfield, you've got Cazorla, Ramsey, Wilshere, Chamberlain options. Defensive midfielder, Coquelin, Arteta, Wilshere, Ramsey options. Left back, Gibbs, Monreal, Flamini. Centre back options, Koscielny, Mertesacker, Monreal, Debuchy. He's missed Chambers out there. Right back, Debuchy, Bellerin. And goalkeeper, Cech, Ospina and Martinez. And that is very, very strong. The weakness I still see there, though, he's got all those strikers, but still not on any of those strikers are in the same type of ilk as a Giroud, which means that when Giroud's out, you don't really have that player who can hold the ball up. And, you know, that can be very important. And Mejabi says Lukaku would be amazing. Lukaku would be very expensive as well. Remember how much money Everton paid for him? They paid nearly £30 million for Lukaku, remember? So they'd be looking for, if John Stones is being valued at 30 million, they're going to want about 40 for Lukaku, and he simply isn't worth that. So thanks for watching Transfer Daily today. We're going to be on our way down to Members Day. I'm going to start getting myself ready for that Members Day that's taking place at Arsenal today. If you're down there today and see us, come and say hello. But we'll be down there at Members Day. But thanks for watching, and we'll be back at the same time tomorrow.